Millions of jobs have been lost, and the Unemployment Insurance Fund has warned the worst is yet to come. The UIF says it will continue processing COVID-19 claims for April and May until a cutoff date is announced. We're going to bring in Mbalenhle Mthethwa soon to find out what's the latest. She was speaking to some of the people who are busily complaining about certain processes as well. So do we have Mbali on the line? All right, Mbalenhle Mthethwa joins us now live. Mbali, just first of all, with regards to the COVID-19 relief scheme, the TERS, has that been extended? My understanding that it's been extended to August 15th. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. It has been extended, and based on the conversation that I had with the UIF Commissioner, Teboho Maruping, he explained to us that they've already received almost 7,000 claims, TERS-related claims, and essentially he was grateful for the fact that they've also managed to pay around 37 billion rand in terms of the benefit scheme, and essentially that was an amount that was paid out in order to assist companies that were in distress as a result of the national lockdown, as a result of COVID-19. And essentially this was in the interest of saving jobs and preserving livelihoods. But unfortunately this has not been the case for all South Africans. We know that there are those who are still waiting for their benefit payouts, for their funds to be paid out to them, and we understand that there are some fraud claims that have been made, and we know that the Minister of Labour has also spoken about essentially putting together an audit or an investigation, or investigating where all the funds have gone, and they're essentially calling this, a project that is going to try and trace the funds and try to follow the money and see if the money that was claimed from using this COVID-19 TERS benefit scheme has essentially benefited and the money has gone to the people it was due to go to. But essentially we're also just hearing a lot of stories standing outside, from people standing outside the offices, the Labour Department's offices. These are people who are unemployed and people who have recently been, who have actually recently lost their jobs as a result of the COVID-19. Earlier on, I spoke to a certain gentleman who spoke about his experience and how his contract was untimely terminated. He was essentially supposed to work for 3 years at this particular company, and unfortunately the company he works for has also been hit by tough times, and unfortunately has had to cut employment and has had to cut jobs, and he's actually found himself in the firing line. A lot more people have come forward to me to talk to us about their experience, and they're saying that they've recently lost their jobs, and their companies have also cited the coronavirus pandemic and the national lockdown, and the fact that there's very little economic activity happening during this period as a result of their unemployment. But I'm joined by a number of gentlemen here who are going to speak to us about their experience. Puti, you telling us, Puti, you were also employed, and unfortunately you've been unemployed. Please talk to us about that.
My sister, Mina, in a certain company from around Jozi, whereby their company it claim UIF, but Tina SABC. So far so good up until now. As God told you nix. And there are certain people lap with company, but sevens are whereby but 70 are casualty. Instead of Tina but permanent with C7 on certain positions.
Thank you so much. And just shortly, the gentleman here is just talking about how he's been working for a certain company, and unfortunately he hasn't been paid since the national lockdown came into effect, and he's saying that they haven't been able to be at work, and unfortunately their roles seem to have been filled by casual employees. Talk to us about your experience.
What I did experience during lockdown is our company promised to pay us as we did sit at home. 50% of the employees were at home, 50% were at work. They promised to pay us from the beginning of the lockdown till today. We didn't receive any cent. So the problem which happened is all of us have got a lot of debit orders which will go through. So what happened is when they go to our banks, there is nothing. So we are now struggling. And when we speak to them, they say they did apply, but till today, as you can see, we are now at the labor. The labor said they didn't apply for us, so we don't know where to go now.
There you have it, another gentleman talking about his experience and talking about the fact that they have been in communication with the employer and just finding out if the employer has actually made the application to the Department of Labour with regards to their TERS benefits, and unfortunately they have found that the employer has not really made the application. And these are some of the things that I did speak to the Commissioner about, and essentially he did actually talk to us about the fact that they are going to be opening up the online portal to allow employers, who may have essentially who are unable to put in all the correct information so that workers are able to get the money that is due to them and the funds that is due to them. And essentially he's blamed that part of the delay and part of the reason that some employees have not been able to get their funds or have not been approved, some claims have not been approved, is because the wrong information or not incorrect information was put onto the application forms, and workers have unfortunately been on the receiving end of that, have been victims of that, and haven't really received their monies and have not been able to fulfill their commitments. I'm also going to speak to one more person who's just going to talk to us about his experience. Please talk to us about your experience.
My experience at work is that they've been extending the long hours that we're working, and the rate, they are cutting the rate that we've been earning. So now, my question is that to the President and to the Premiers, where is the money that they told us that we have for the COVID-19? And why are they not sending people on the ground to investigate the fund? Are they using them properly? Are the fund have reached where they're supposed to go? Up to now, we haven't received even a cent. Now we are here at the labor and we are complaining. We are saying, where is our money? Because now we are at we have debit orders. We have kids to support. We have families, but we have nothing even up to now.
Those are some of the frustrations, essentially asking for those who are in positions of authority to act swiftly with regards to investigating where the money has gone, and if the money, because of the responsibilities that people have to their families and so on, and unfortunately without a salary they are unable to fulfill those responsibilities. Essentially this is the situation here on the ground. There are large crowds gathering. I think earlier on I told you about a queue that was snaking all the way around this very building that we're standing right next to, and across the road there has been a huge big crowd that has gathered of allegedly unemployed people, some recently unemployed, and some of them essentially just trying to follow up with regards to their TERS benefits and if indeed they will be able to get those funds. We understand, based on the conversation that I had with the commissioner, the UIF commissioner, that is that there have only been 120 cases, fraud cases, that have been reported to the UIF, and essentially the situation on the ground, it seems as though there are a lot more people who are concerned about funds not being handed back over to them. But we specifically hope that the investigation and the audit and that the government will be able to trace the money and bring bring justice to the system and to this situation right now. For now though, it's back to you in studio.
All right, Mbalenhle Mthethwa, they're live. Thank you very much indeed.